Welcome to the GameChanger 00100 show. I'm your host, GameChanger, and we have a very, very special guest today. We have Mr. Nuclear Physicist here with us, Mr. Navy, whatever you want to call the brother. He's here to talk about his experience from going viral and basically just going from a guy who was messing around, playing Call of Duty, with some friends, got a bet, lost a bet, but turned out that he won a lot more. So very interesting story. Um, it's rare and unique. Now, I want to start off by saying, well, actually, I have a couple questions, and then I want to
Okay.
really get deep into it. So, in the interview that you had with Melli, you mentioned something like, we're on two different levels. Now, what exactly is meant by that? I'm curious.
Um, well, when I said that there can't really be bad blood between two different levels,
Right.
we're at two different stages in our life, right? Um, we
Sorry about that.
are, I am at a point in my life where I, I'm already financially secure. I'm not worried about that. I'm already, I have someone that I look out for, that I provide for, that I care about a lot. I'm already at a point where I'm looking for now that I have the foundation, I'm looking to build upon that foundation further. While this woman, I think her name is like Leah, I'll say Leah, was more at a point in her life where she was still getting her education, still looking for security, and well, she doesn't have that person that she cares for yet. So we're at two different stages of life. There's not really comparing like our lifestyles. There's not really a comparison. We're at two different levels. So if either of us were to kind of like take jabs at each other like we did at the interview, there's not necessarily going to be bad blood there because A, we know we're just messing around, and B, because we're not at a point where there's a competition to be had.
Okay, so part of that is I want to dig into that just a little bit because you say that she's still in school and she's still getting her education. Now, is that really a different stage, especially when you're in your mid to late 20s? Is that really like a you see a person who's educating in a different stage in their life, or were you not with your girlfriend? Would you date a college student? I guess is my question.
No, I have no problem with dating a college student. What I'm saying is more along the lines of there's when someone is going for like college before their career, right? They're at a stage where their mindset is different from someone who kind of already did the education that they need to get into their career. Like someone who is already in their career has a different mindset than someone who is still studying to get that career. So she's in nursing school. She was studying to become a nurse. I already did all of my studies to get my certification for pharmacy. I already have that behind me. If I choose to go, um, like I said, I'm studying to become a commissioned officer.
Right.
That's something extra that I decided to do. I have that option. She's currently in her main studies, where I'm more in like a secondary phase.
Got you.
There's a different kind of area at play there.
Got you. And you say that you're in different stages also because of like a maturity level regarding relationships. Like you have been in a relationship for the past 2 years and she's looking and she's probably not really seriously considering, or at least she implied that on the show, that she's not as relationship minded as you are at this
Right.
stage. Is that part of the different level thing that you
Right. Like I said, I already have someone that I care for, that I want to provide for. That's 2 years of progress that I've cemented myself in. A lot of the times, like on the Melanie King show, she said most 19-year-olds aren't going to look to settle down. I'm kind of already in that mindset where I'm like, I'm not looking for more than what I already have. This is the girl that I chose to be with. I don't need to keep searching. That's not something that I need. So that's a different stage of life completely, when you already have someone that you found that you're comfortable with and you want to stay with.
I got you. Okay, and another part, you apologized because your girlfriend isn't black. Well, why did you feel that you owed Melly and her guest an apology? I'm curious.
It was sarcastic.
Okay, okay, I did not pick up on that. I was like, why is he apologizing?
I have
But
a bit of like I do
that's some
I do
street,
have
yeah.
that effect where sometimes people can't tell if I'm joking or not.
I got you. I got you. Okay, so what was the kind of pushback? Because apparently the way you reacted was that people overreacted about the race of your girlfriend. So what was some of the reaction from just the general public? Like, what
I
were they
do.
saying to you?
A lot of people were saying that because of the environment that I was raised in, that I was like whitewashed, and there was like no chance that I would have a black woman as my partner. That isn't the case, actually. I have had in the past a black partner. It didn't work out, obviously, but
Mhm.
it has nothing to do with the fact that I have anything against black women. But I did get a lot of people saying, "Oh, there's no way that he would date a black lady." Or he's definitely dating like a white girl, or a white girl snatched him up in college, which I did reply to that comment, and I said no, she snatched me up in high school. Um, but it's just that thing where a lot of people do actually seem to care about the race of my girlfriend, which I mean I find interesting. I don't see it as like negative. I just like I wonder why that's like a concern to people.
Yeah, it really shouldn't. As far as you can tell, the people who complain, are they older? Are they younger? Are they black? Are they white? Like,
They are most certainly older,
okay.
and a lot of it is black women saying that there's no way that I'm dating a black woman.
So
So
older
there's
black
that
women are
that
asking
demographic. Yeah.
So older black women are asking younger men. They're concerned with the race of women that you're dating. Now that's interesting because I'm
Right.
older and I get that too. Well, I don't get that exactly, but I do get from black women in my age group or in their 30s or something. I'm in my early 40s. I do get like you look like you only date white women. And I always kind of wrote it off as this is their way to see if I am interested in dating them.
Right.
Because
It does feel like it comes off that way.
right, right. So you get that feeling too.
Yes.
But as older black women, that's their come on line. That's their pitch to you. Like, hey, do you only date white women? And I guess if you say no, they're like, okay, well, he's open to dating me because from their point of view, men date based on race. Like,
Which is
oh,
odd.
yeah, it is
I
very odd.
don't really
Yeah,
understand that.
yeah, I agree. Okay, let's see. Okay, moving on. So you got I didn't understand, and I said that on my first video about what transpired with you, why this got so much attention. Guys get rejected all the time,
Yeah.
and especially on the Pineapple Show. And you're
Right.
not the first one. More handsome guys were rejected. Guys at MIT were rejected. Wealthy guys were rejected. But people seem to have zeroed into this particular scenario. And what are your thoughts on that? Why do you believe that that is the case here? Because to me, like, I think that she pineapple maybe like 60 other guys that same night. So, like, why did they say, oh, I can't believe you shot this guy down? I mean, is that their way of saying that I wouldn't have shot him down? Even though guys are saying this, which is, a whole different story. But why do you think your situation got so much attention? Because I know that you didn't expect it.
Yeah, no, I definitely did not expect it. So I don't understand it quite myself. When I did talk to Melanie King about it, she said that it was kind of the perfect storm between me being attractive looks wise, as
Mhm.
well as seeming more professional and having it's like having a good job, a stable personality, and on top of that, being physically attractive. All of those together makes you seem what she would describe as a Chad. When I asked her what she meant by that, she said having all of the qualities that women look for. So I think it's the perfect storm of that I believe people contend the rejection of, which I personally don't agree with, because I don't really see myself as too great. But apparently that's what she was saying is what got people riled up, was the fact that not only did I have like looks, I would say, but also like a decent personality, and also the job to go with it. But I don't understand it completely.
Okay. Okay. Do you think that she may have sensed that you weren't taking it seriously and that you wouldn't take her seriously? Because there may have been some insecurity on her side and you weren't taking it seriously. So she could have been picking up on that. And maybe she was like, he's not really into me. He's probably not into black girls. No, I'm throwing it out there. But, you know, do you think that that may have been a factor in it?
I would say that I would have to disagree with that sentiment. Honestly, the thing that I noticed is the
Mhm.
way her body language was that I'm not paying attention to her specifically when I'm talking. And so I believe that she either A, truly thought I was boring, which makes sense because I wasn't trying to be exciting, or B, she was intimidated by the job because, like I said, she immediately became combative over the fact that people were saying that why would you reject a nuclear physicist, and that's why she brought up her own profession. There is no reason that you would bring up your own profession to come back at someone else's profession, unless you had something like some factor that you believe had to be compared between the two. There would be no other reason for you to try to one up something unless you knew that there was something to be one upped.
So you didn't buy that either when her justification for, saying that I'm in nursing school and something like that. Like what I got when she said that was more of the sense that I don't need a financially stable man because I am becoming financially stable myself. Now, on when she returned to the show, she played it off as something else like, "Oh no, I was just saying that so people don't assume that I'm a bimbo." But that's not how it came off,
Right.
and that's not how it was stated. So
It's definitely not how she said it originally.
right, right. Okay, so you and I both agree that maybe the words are there, but it does seem as though she's interested in leveraging, the men that she interact with. But what I mean by not taking it seriously, and you kind of restated that, is that you weren't as into her as she would like for you have to have been.
Definitely
Um,
not.
Yeah, and that came across. So I think that that may have went into the decision of pineapple because let's face it, she went on and this was her center of attention moment. Whether she was there
Yeah.
seriously looking for a mate or she was there to see how many guys she can reject in an hour. But
Right.
she I don't think that she got what she wanted from you immediately. You wasn't enamored by
No.
her
No.
appeal
Sorry,
that she has.
it's a little hot
So
in it's a little hot
yeah,
in my room. So
yeah, no worries. So she wasn't impressed. She wasn't impressed by or you weren't impressed the same way that all the other guys were. And I think that that went into her immediate decision.
right.
So after looking in the chat, and this is another thing that prompted me to make the first video was that you went back and then you said to her, or you said to the audience, like, look, it's not that you actually defended her against an audience that was hostile towards her, you know, defended her occupation or her future occupation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And at that point, even prior to that, it really was apparent that you did not have a care in the world about about being pineapple. And the world seemed to have cared on your behalf.
Which
So
yeah, that was another thing that I found kind of kind of interesting was that I even came back on to be like, it's not. I literally said, "quote It's not that serious," and they still kind of went with, "No, it's serious." So that's I don't know. There's actually a pretty big issue with the internet getting mad on other people's behalves. That's definitely a thing that exists.
Exactly, exactly. Well, I don't know. I think that, and this is just from my audience, and the conclusion I came to. I think that they were under the impression. This is why I label videos like Nuclear Physicist is winning. I think that they were under the impression that you were a loser when it comes to relationships with women, and this was like your only hope. Like, oh, you need to get at this chick, and she just was your last hope of ever losing your virginity at 27. Like, and
Oh man,
that
27.
that was a takeaway. And I made the video like, I'm not getting the vibe from this guy. Like, I get the feeling that he's going to win regardless, and that you guys may be projecting something else onto him that's not really there. And I was right. Let's face it, I was right. I was like, listen, and you have a whole girlfriend and stuff. You're not really thinking about this girl. She's not on your level, and that's just the end of that. So people took it seriously on your behalf. Do you? Well, I don't want to say that. I don't want to
No,
say
go ahead.
that.
Ask the question.
It's not really. It's more of a statement.
Oh, okay.
I think that there exist people who do have the trouble that you don't have. And they figure, okay, if this guy has problem penetrating, the shell of this woman, then I'm definitely not going to have an opportunity. I kind of got that feel from the
Yeah,
reaction.
I actually made that comment myself. I can't remember I when I said it, but I said it more blatantly than you did. I said, well, a lot of people I think feel that if a fucking nuclear physicist isn't able to get a girl, how the fuck is someone who, didn't study any kind of physics, didn't go and become a doctor, didn't become a lawyer, how the fuck are we expecting the average person to get a decent girl if people like fucking Albert Einstein are getting fucking rejected, lawyers are getting rejected? Like, it does. It fucking impacts the way people view things. It has to impact the way people view things. If I saw fucking Tom Holland get rejected by, I don't know, fucking prime Lindsay Lohan, shit, I don't have a chance in the fucking world. I don't. People have that mentality. It's the way things have always been. You see things that happen and you go off of that example because you observed that example.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But I think that, and well, let me ask this first. Were you rejected prior to your current relationship? Have you ever hit on a woman and she said no? She pineappled you in real life?
I had one that rejected me and then 3 years later came back and asked me out.
Okay. What, you did some push-ups or sit-ups or something? Like, what changed?
When I was 14, no, 13, when I was 13, I weighed 90 pounds. When
Mhm.
I was 14 and I got onto the freshman football team, I worked out the entire summer, came back 145 pounds.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that definitely had something to do with it.
Exactly. So yeah, fellas, if you maybe hitting the gym would help with that situation and you get
It
rejected
does.
a lot less. Yeah.
Like I said last night on the Melanie King show, there are things that are going to be outside of your control, like your height,
True.
the color of your skin, the way your hair is, if it's straight, wavy, curly, whatever. However, there are things you can do to increase your odds. You can work out, you can study, become smarter, talk to people, get more used to talking to people. If you're able to converse with people, I promise you, even if the odds only increase by 0.5%, in the real life where 0.5% is the difference between success and failure, take the extra 0.5%. It is literally objectively true that an extra 0.5% is better than not having an extra 0.5%. Increase your odds. Increase your odds. That's all you have to do.
True. Some would argue that it's a lot of work for a small difference in results. You are obviously a very disciplined and structured person, but people who don't enjoy things like karate in the gym as much as you, they would argue that, okay, wait a minute, I'm putting in all of this work for this much return, and it's probably not worth it. Maybe I'll just buy some shoes and hope she likes that.
Here's what I will say to that.
Okay.
The biggest problem with this generation, not only my generation, the generation before me also has a little bit of this issue, but my generation especially has this issue. We are so used to everything being right at our fucking fingertips that we refuse to put in effort to do anything and get any kind of success. You will not succeed if you fail to start and commit to what you want. Everyone wants to know, right? So, because I don't know if y'all know, I already admitted to this multiple times. The only reason I said I was 27 was so I didn't get pineappled in the first 5 seconds. I'm 19. Everything else, the nuclear physicist stuff, pharmacy stuff, it's all true. How did I get that at 19, at 18? I got certified at 17 in pharmacy. How did I do it? I put in the effort for something that I wanted because I didn't want to be average. You have to make a conscious decision, even if it is a lot of effort. I promise you, you're still going to get a better chance of success. You might only gain 5 pounds of muscle. That 5 pounds of muscle makes you look better than the person who doesn't have that 5 pounds of muscle. That's an increase in odds. You might study for hours and only learn a few basic facts about anything. Those few basic facts might impress somebody who didn't know those basic facts. The foundations that you can receive by putting in actual effort are foundations that you can build upon later that people notice. People notice when you put in effort. You might not even get results sometimes. Sometimes you hit a plateau, but people still see the effort that you put in, and that effort changes your personality. GameChanger talked to me about discipline. He said, I'm a disciplined person. Putting in effort creates discipline. Effort over time is what discipline is. Discipline is the embodiment of how much effort you put in and what you're willing to sacrifice. Time, energy, chances, and opportunities. You are sacrificing some things for other things. You have to sacrifice energy and effort to get what you want. Have to. There's no other way. Even if the opportunity is right in front of you, you still have to accept the opportunity. You have to put in effort to accept the opportunity. So you might as well increase your odds by just a little bit, even if it's a lot of effort. That's still a better chance of success. Success is success. A lower chance of success is a lower chance of success.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's a little bit higher to get that chance of success, that's still a chance to be successful. I would take that every day. Every day.
Yeah, no, I definitely see what you're saying. Like if you are a half a second faster, that's the difference between a gold medal and a silver medal in the Olympics.
Every day.
Every day. Or a bronze medal and no medal at all. So no, I definitely understand the importance of that. Now, I was under the impression, and the chat room was saying this too, that you were 27. I don't know where I got that from. Maybe that's her age.
The original clip, right? So in the original Pineapple show, she had an age limit of, I believe, 25 to talk to her on that show. And since I lost the bet, I couldn't just go on, say I'm 19 and get off. That would be the easy way out, and it wouldn't fulfill the terms of the bet that I set up initially. Okay. We said that like I had to be on there for at least like a minute or some shit like that. Okay. So I said I was 27 just because I didn't want to say 20. If I said 25, she would have been like, he looks a little bit young. Maybe he's aging up. So I was like, fuck it, 27.
Well, it would be suspicious if you said the exact minimum age that's required.
Yeah. And I even say it in there. I'm like, I know I look young. Yeah, I'm 19. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that clears that up to the people who's like, oh, he lied. Yeah, he lied to meet the conditions of the bet. I'm pretty sure he would have lied about having a girlfriend because that is what he's doing. He's appearing on the show to present a certain image that will make the conversation last.
I actually never even said that I was single or that I was
Well,
taken
but
in
it
that
didn't
video.
come up. It didn't come
Yeah,
up.
it didn't come up.
Yeah. So no, I definitely understand. And it really seemed like on the return show, she didn't care if you were single or not. She was
Didn't
then
seem like
like,
it.
oh yeah, we should go paintballing. It's like, really? That's.
Classic female. If I can take your man away from you, that just makes me better than you. That's a thing that they actually like. Younger women do that. They actually
Mhm.
do. I have ever since this happened, I have people entering my DMs all the time. Yeah, I know you're not single, but and it's always a but. They have like this thing about like competing for men. I don't
Absolutely.
really know what it is. I don't know what it is.
Absolutely. It's wanting to be top nana. It's basically like I am the top chick. I am better than this chick. I knew
Yeah.
someone who, when Chris Webber was seeing Tyra Banks, that's how old I am.
A certain
Um,
sense of satisfaction or something.
yeah, exactly. Her being a groupie to Chris Webber at the time made her feel more attractive than Tyra Banks, which is odd. But no, I definitely am familiar with that mentality. So, it's yeah. But I think that she, in this case, I think that she had like a renewed interest because also there's a lot of clout that went around your situation and
Yeah.
your name and everything like that. And there would be more clout if the two of you were to go paintballing. It's like, oh, maybe this is going to be like a new YouTube, a match made on the Pineapple Show type deal. There's a ton of things that could have been going through her mind. But
Listen,
definitely she
if
ignored the fact that you're not really available that way.
the more I think about it,
Mhm.
I, it would absolutely be unfair for me to enter that paintball match. Absolutely. I there I'm competitive as fuck on the field. As fuck. I'll be it could be rainy as shit. The grounds are muddy. I'm crawling through the mud. Right behind you, put it to your neck. Oh, fuck. I'm a demon on the field. Demon on the field. I love violent war games. Love violent war games.
Yeah. I do too. I've been paintballing before. I haven't done that. What's that new thing with it's not as hard as paintballs. It's like the little white dots or something.
I have no idea. I don't play that. I think it's like gel ball though.
Okay. All right. Somebody said something interesting. He definitely needs to prefix the reason before he starts to lie. No, he don't. No, he don't. That's the whole reason behind a lie. If I'm getting pulled over and the officer say, "Do you know how fast you were going?" I said, "Okay, before I lie, I'm lying to you because I don't want to get a ticket." Who prefixes their lie? Like the whole that doesn't make what the hell was that?
Officer, I want is this stock? Officer, before I tell you that, I just want you to know that like I really like cars, so
Yeah, exactly. Like, did you see that stop sign? Like, well, the reason that I'm going to lie to you is because I've seen it and I'm going to lie about not seeing it. What the hell is a prefix to a lie? And
I
stop.
really don't want to go to jail, officer.
Yeah, exactly. And stop with the don't lie to women or stuff like that. So there's a rule that some guys have to where I don't have to lie to listen. Sometimes it's necessary for whatever reason, whether it's a bet or whether you want to sleep with her and she only sleeps with Scorpios and you're
Only
not a
sees
Scorpio.
Scorpios. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh
So
man.
I have no problems lying to somebody like that. It's her fault for only wanting to sleep with Scorpios, is the way I look at it. So stop trying to badger the guy for lying. All right. Let me ask you this. Which ethnicity of women, hold on, which ethnicity of women or which race of women is most interested in you. And I'm talking about prior to this, because I think that you
Wow.
probably got an influx of Black women after this. But prior to this, um, which group of women do you get the most choosing signals from?
Wow. That's a great question. Honestly, prior to this, I
Well, think about that for a second because I want to respond to this. Just not
okay.
your age. He is legal. He is legal. He is
I
legal. Nobody's gonna go to jail for messing with him. He lies if he
I'm
wants.
on I'm on that young gravy grind is what I'll say to that.
Yeah, exactly. Is don't what is wrong with you? Like, oh, about his age. I did the same thing at that age. So yeah, that's what you do. I also did the
Um
same thing at 30, but in the opposite direction. That's just what you do sometimes.
I think I think the most attracted race that is attracted to me prior to this would probably have been Hispanic or Caucasian.
Okay.
I I think. I definitely have had some Asians, but I've only ever had two black girls that were interested in me that I'm aware of.
Well, if you're young and you probably come from a place where it's not many black girls, yeah, that's a decent number. I mean, or am I wrong? Like, I mean, you probably, what the hell? I mean, am I wrong in that regard? Here, I'm gonna just turn this off.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah. So you're young, meaning that, over the span of between when you first started dating and 19, and you probably come from a place where it's not that many black girls.
Um, I wouldn't say that there aren't that many black women where I'm from. I think it stems more from a fact that the demographic in school, right? You have to consider that there are different levels of education even within public schools. So there was level, and then we had in Texas, it's called AP, which means advanced placement.
No, yeah.
Within the social demographic of our school, we had less African American women in advanced placement. And that's not like a bias towards them. That's just an observation that I had. Was there weren't very many within my classroom, so I didn't have a lot of attention from that demographic in class because there weren't that many of them to begin with.
So it was because of the class. So primarily, is that where you met your girlfriend in an AP course?
Actually, no. My current girlfriend. So I was hanging out with one of my female friends. We were at a birthday party, and she takes a picture of me, and she puts it on her story. And on her story, my current girlfriend slid up and said, "He's kind of cute, though." So
Mhm.
she shows us, uh, the picture of that girl calling me cute, my current girlfriend calling me cute, and I tell him, or I tell her, "Give me your Instagram." So I go to her Instagram and I say, "He is kind of cute, though." And then from there, we've just been together.
Okay, that's how that works out. So race isn't a factor at all. Black girls had the same chances that they did. They just so happened to not be in AP or not be in the right place at the right time and saying the right thing. Were
Right.
you not with your girlfriend? Would you have considered something from what you know about the woman on the Pineapple Show? Would you have considered her as a candidate, provided that you didn't meet her on the Pineapple Show?
That I didn't meet her on the Pineapple Show. I
Yeah, you
have
just
no
met her in
idea.
passing, or she hit you in the GMs or something like that.
So what I will say is that I have the common experience that people act better when being broadcast or advertised than they do in real life. So, considering the way that she was acting on the Pineapple Show, no, I do not believe that if I met her in real life that I would perceive her as a love interest in any way.
Now, that's interesting. I would assume worse. In fact, I still believe that it's worse. Tell me, why do you feel people act better? And this comes from watching reality TV, you know, watching young women and sometimes even young men behaving in a way that they should never behave in public. So I just assume that the camera made the worst or brought the worst out in people.
I would say I have to disagree, and the reason why is that I just about 20 minutes before I came on to this show, I was recording a video, and the topic of the video was a panel where we were deciding whether or not people's societal values can be increased or decreased based on their actions. And the conclusion we came to was a unilateral yes, that when being broadcast or advertised, what you do affects the way that people perceive you. So, especially when you're on live TV in front of thousands or dozens of thousands of people, you are more likely to put your best face forward, even if it's completely against who you are. So and everyone does it. Everyone tries to look at least a little bit better than they do when they're lounging on their couch, stuffing themselves with Cheetos or something. It's just it's an instinct to look good in front of others. Um, do I find her physically attractive? The lady on the pineapple show. If I had to rate her from 1 to 10, because I'm not too like scared of rating people objectively, I would probably say I would rate her about a 6.5 physically.
Okay. Now, people, especially people who are close to high school, have a tendency to making 7 the average. Do you consider 7 or 5 the average?
I honestly, I couldn't tell you what I see the average is. And the only reason why I say that is because I haven't seen every girl, right? But normally I would say that I would consider like my standards average to be about a 6.
Okay. So she's slightly above average.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay. So, well, there you have it. So maybe if when a woman is slightly above average, it means that he would, provided that a well above average option isn't available at the time. That's typically what that means. And other people agree that they would give her that rating as well. Okay, so have you had conversations, and I know that your girl's watching this, have you had conversations with any of the females who displayed interest? Friendly conversations.
Friendly conversations with people that have DM'd me? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
They come on, they talk to me, they're just like, hey, one guy even came on and it wasn't even a girl, it was just a guy. He was like, hey, I saw you on the Melanie King show, like, don't worry about a lot of the guys. A lot of them are just upset about the fact that you have arguments to give against some of the things Melanie says because they like Melanie and they would do anything for her. I talk to people that DM me. I'm not like, I wouldn't consider myself famous enough to the point where I would ignore people who DM me.
Okay. Now, let me ask this, and you definitely didn't ignore me, so I appreciate that. So, somebody asked, or were you talking about Melli? No, you weren't.
Absolutely not. Melli
So
is
what would
gorgeous
Melli
beyond
get? And then I have
compare.
another question.
Quote.
Okay, what does Melli get?
Easily a 9. Easily 9.
Okay, now I had disputes with other YouTubers.
Okay.
What do Melody King get?
Melanie King. I love a professional lady. I have to give her a 9.5.
Oh, so
Love
you
a
give,
professional lady.
so you
Love a
give,
professional lady.
well, they're both professionals.
Right, but I see Melly's demeanor as more of a lighthearted upbeat, whereas I see a Melanie King's more of an intellectual professionalism.
Okay, let me see if I understand where you're coming from, because this is interesting. Now, I'm assuming your girl is around your age, right?
My girl is actually older than me by 5 months.
Okay, fair enough. And Melody King is literally twice your age, and
Correct.
that's not a deterrent at all because she's professional.
Like I
Is that
said, I'm on that young gravy mindset. Like older women, not a deterrent at all. At
okay?
all.
Wow, that is interesting. That is interesting. Okay, so ask and you shall tell. All right, so since then you come back, you got a bunch of girls and some guys who are just like on some keep your head up stuff. They're all hitting you in the DMs, and you find out that this is the center of everything. Where do you see yourself going with this? Like, how are you going to ride this into the future? Because I've noticed that you were on Melly Monaco's show yesterday, and I didn't see the whole portion that you did. I just seen that you were talking to the woman there, who, by the way, doesn't really look much like her Instagram photo, but that's a separate thing.
They
But
never do. They never do. They never
they
do.
rarely ever do. Photoshop, filter, makeup, everything. Yeah. But that being said, are you going to be, as you stated, a reoccurring guest if it's allowed, or what? Are you going to go on yourself and
So on the Pineapple Show, I plan to. The reason why I want to be a recurring character on the Pineapple Show is more so that I can get an understanding of the modern woman's perspective. From there, I go to the Melanie King Show in order to get more of an opinion from a female perspective of a generation before me on how they view what's going on with modern women as well. My goal, right, is to kind of try to get to understand modern women so that I can help men to get what they want, not only in relationship but also advice on how to go for what they want as like a career, like I said, like effort, putting in what they want for their body goals, career, studies, just everything. Like I like helping people because I also like when I help someone, I'm learning more about the people around me. If I help someone, I end up learning about them. And my sister is on. Holy shit, you can't name drop me. God damn, my sister just came and posted my first name for real.
Oh wow, yeah. Somebody get rid of that.
No, you don't have to.
Oh,
For those of you that I'm a medical professional, so my name is public anyways. For those of you that don't know, and this is the only place I'm going to say my name is Tyon Davis, CPHT. So Kim Davis, the one that said that's so interesting, Tyon, that is my sister, my older sister.
okay. There you go. So V Scott came through to support. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
C Gully, appreciate the super sticker. Thanks a lot. And let's see. Nice to see a lot of people in the house tonight. Let's give GameChanger some support. Greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate the support and the suggestions that others do. Yeah, those who take that suggestion, I greatly appreciate it. I got to be honest with you. I was on the Melly Monaco side. I like almond eyes. I like full lips. And I love her accent. I love her accent. Was seeing somebody with a West African accent didn't do anything for me. I love Melly's.
For,
So
for those of you trying to date my sister, she's married.
what the hell?
Just letting y'all
So
know.
for those of you who are trying to date a sister, you just got pineappled
Yeah,
and it
facts.
didn't
Y'all
go
got
viral.
pineapple the shit out of. Like it was automatic. Also,
Yeah,
she's my sister, so fuck you.
I know. It's like no boundaries or bro code or nothing. It's just like, oh
Not at
shit.
all. Not at all. God damn.
Wait, I don't see her thing.
Yeah,
She
I
don't even.
ruined the
Bro,
fun.
wait
I
a
ruined the
minute.
fun.
Come on, guys. Show some level of not thirst. Show some level of not thirst in this. You see a blue K, or you see a white K with a in a blue circle, and you like, ooh, I want some of that. What? Come on, dude. Show some restraint. Now, that being said, why do you think it is? And this isn't me shooting against what Melly's doing.
Right.
But why? Okay, put it like this. Other than yourself, who was calling for fun, the men who call into the show, do you think that they take it more seriously than they should? Um,
100%.
okay,
100%.
elaborate on that.
there's no need for that question to even go further, because I know for a fact that men are not as opposed to risking humiliation in order to get something that they want, especially when it comes to a potential partner. It is so much easier for men to risk humiliation than it is for women. And we do
Well,
it
we're
all the
used
time.
to it.
Yeah,
Not
we are
necessarily
used to it.
humiliation, but we're used to the rejection a lot more than women.
And at
Absolutely.
this point, rejection at this scale is humiliation. Rejection
No,
in
I
front
agree.
of thousands of people is humiliation. Absolutely.
I agree. Humiliation is, public degradation, and you have to feel like you're of a certain grade to not want to be degraded, if that makes sense to you.
Right.
I think that a lot of guys don't really see it that way. They like, I really didn't lose anything. I mean, I think that they're looking at it like a free lottery ticket.
Right.
In the sense that, okay, why not scratch it? Because if I win, then I win big. And if I lose, I don't really lose anything monetarily. I just lose a moment of time, which on the surface could be the case. But there is the factor. And then there's another factor. You're kind of playing into the ego of someone who probably shouldn't. You probably shouldn't be playing into their ego. You're kind of taking a person who's as you stated, 6.5 and making them feel like a 9.5, at least for that moment.
Right.
Um, which you contributed to, even though because you lost a bet, the punishment was to be slightly humiliated. So I get that. Um, However, and this is interesting, you're one of the few people that I know of that ever had the opportunity to deflate the ego, which you did in the last interview. Her ego went from I am the pineapple princess to, yeah, I'm just some person laughing at every joke, whether it's funny or not, to save face and trying to go paintballing with a guy in a relationship. So the ego change there was drastic. I have to say it was drastic. And well, first let me ask this, and then we'll talk about the ego change. Because you're studying the nature of women, and that's an obvious like cheat sheet to the midterm or final. So she said you won't get to talk to me like that. And in the beginning, when you was like, okay, now you may speak, and
I
and you put
wanted
your finger in your temple, like
I wanted
um,
so much to say that I just did. I wanted to say that so much, but I held it back.
okay,
Held it back.
and that's what was going through your mind, like because she was saying like you won't in the future talk to me like that, and you kind of talked to her like that all throughout. So
The entire time.
while she laughed, yes. So were you like, oh, this is just how I'm going to continue to talk because you are, hold on, what's the quote? We're on two different levels. And
No, the reason why I wanted to be especially confrontative, more so like doing a jab every now and then, was because I knew that if had I not have done that, and had I kind of continued to give off the character of, well, I'm just a guy who's, educated, and I know what I want. Had I done that, it would have served to help nobody in that situation. It would have served to essentially say that being educated forces you to restrain yourself and how things come across you. It is one thing to understand being disrespected and to let it slide. It is another thing to represent a group of people who have feel disrespected and then do nothing, because then multiple people feel disrespected and it's not just you. So I played to the crowd a bit there in order to kind of push the message that you can't sit there and disrespect a group of people in front of dozens of thousands of people and expect it to have no repercussions.
Okay. And so you basically, this was retaliation for her behavior while she was on the show. Is that what you're saying?
To an extent, I didn't want to make it animus. So instead of being animus, I decided to make jokes instead
Mhm.
of just outright being like a dick.
Now, you failed at that. All right. But that's okay. I liked it. Now, that's a lot different than how you felt like immediately following the show when you were actually pineapple. It was more like, hey, leave this girl alone. She's, she don't deserve the ridicule that she was given. And, after boot camp, things changed and you like,
Yeah, in boot camp you learn to take disrespect a little bit differently. And
okay.
while I was on the pineapple show, I didn't actually feel disrespected. I didn't actually
Mhm.
feel disrespected until
Well,
she
you
was
weren't
at the
disrespected.
interview. I was disrespected, but I didn't take it as such. I didn't take it as such until I saw the interview with her and a few other people where I was called corny and
Oh,
boring.
oh,
Right.
so the disrespect came after, because when I looked at the show, I just seen it as, they're not compatible. And really, she's probably not taking it seriously anyway. I did not assume that you had a girlfriend and you weren't taking it seriously either. But I just said it's not compatible and moved on. And there were people saying that she's only into bad boys and stuff, even though the guys that she gave the most time to, didn't really seem like bad or good. One was a student, the other one was a cook or something like that. So, I didn't
Right.
get that vibe, but I was just like, okay, these are just two incompatible people. And I didn't see disrespect there. But no, she went on later and called you corny and lame from the 45 seconds. Oh wait, did you make the minute? Did you meet the criteria of the bet?
I did. I did.
Okay, great. So a guy that she talked to for a minute, she's given assessments and things like that. Jesus, she's given assessments and things like that, I would have to say that, yeah, that kind of deserves retaliation, like, so she called you corny and then appeared later and laughed at all of your jokes, which is corny, but yeah, I see why that.
Um, a lot of them weren't actual jokes. A lot of them was me just like responding how I would normally respond to that. Like if a girl actually did ask me to go to paintball, I would probably be like, I don't think my girlfriend would like me just going to paintball with another woman without like anyone else. Like I would say that exactly how I said it to her. Like some of them were actually just my responses to what she was saying.
Exactly. Everything is funny when a chick has an agenda. Like it's to play to a man's ego of his sense of humor. And it wasn't really working on you for one, and for two, she really just got pineappled herself by throwing out the whole paintball thing, and you stating that, well, you know what you said. So yeah, so she got pineapple. She got reverse pineappled, which was an interesting change of dynamic. But also, it seemed like, this is what I got from the interview yesterday, that she had a very clear agenda. She wanted to paint herself as this person who, it's his fault because he wasn't substantive enough, in the original interview. And whatever you said, she was going to say, now that I have this substance, now we can go out. Now there's a bit of arrogance to assume that you actually did, you know, want to, that was part of your agenda as well. It's a
There's
little
a
arrogant. Yeah.
Especially since before she even got on, I said that I was not sick, like not single at all. So for her to come on and state like, "Oh yeah, now we can go," like now I'll take you on a date. Like what? That doesn't even make sense. Like it's almost incomprehensible how ignorant she had to be to not only ask me on a date but acknowledge the fact that I'm not single and still be like, "Oh yeah, that doesn't really matter." Like wow, like to my face. To my face.
And to your girlfriend's
That's
face. Very likely
yeah.
to your girlfriend's face. Yeah.
Yeah.
That I was a little taken back by that, but then, and this goes into what you're studying, the nature of women. well, there is the competition factor that you talked about before, and then there's the overinflated ego factor that can't be ignored, and that comes from things like being on the Pineapple Show and shooting down 100 guys with genuine interest in a matter of 2 hours. That has to do something unhealthy to the ego, and the results is what you just seen. Like, it's a feeling that most every man is available to me. It's just a matter of if I am accepting an invitation to paintball. You know, every man
Right.
wants to paintball me, so I give him the opportunity. So what you did was you took her out of that mindset, and I think that that's where the false laughter and things like oh, I don't know what to do, like I wouldn't be surprised if she sneezed at that point. Like, I'm so confused, I don't know what reaction to give, so I'm just sneeze.
Yeah, I don't think she had any other option but to laugh. I don't think she had another option.
Yeah.
Any other option would have just solidified the character that the internet sees her as now. So there really wouldn't be any other option.
Okay. All right. So Jackie sent the super sticker. Thanks a lot. Greatly appreciate it. All right. And let me say, I asked the young man, has he heard of Elon Musk proposed nuclear powered spacecraft to Mars? I think everybody heard of that.
I did not. If it happened while I was at boot camp, then I probably did not hear about it.
Okay.
Um, a lot of a lot of people like to put emphasis on the regards that I was a nuclear physicist.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you that are unaware, I've had to say this a few times, but I relinquished my nuclear position enlistment in the Navy in order to go commission as a surface warfare officer. So still going Navy. I just want to commission as an officer instead of being enlisted.
Okay. So I want to make something clear because I talked to some of your detractors. So just to be clear, you were not trying to present yourself as a physicist PhD who
Absolutely
actually
not.
researching. Yeah.
Absolutely not.
So
So
yeah,
when
just
I
to be
say
clear, yeah.
nuclear physicist, I studied and was a student of nuclear physics. So I fall under the definition of the word nuclear physicist. So I gave you the title that I rightfully have as a student of nuclear physics. I actually, on the Melanie King show tonight, I will be presenting my nuclear papers that prove that I was in the nuclear program. But I, in no way, do I have any huge amount of knowledge on nuclear physics. I was a student of nuclear physics. I was
Mhm.
not, as a profession, like a doctor of physics or a master of physics or a bachelor of physics. I do not have a degree in nuclear physics, nor did I ever claim to have a degree in nuclear physics.
Right. Just clearing that up because people, and I don't know why. Listen, if I see a guy lying to a woman, I shut up completely. You know, like if I knew you personally and you wasn't with your girl, and a woman says, "Hey, he's cute, but he's young," and you just say you're 27, I'm not gonna be the guy that says, like, no, he's 19. I'm like, oh, well, hey, have at it. Meet my 27-year-old friend. So, like, I would kind of leave it at that. I don't know why. I don't know. You are getting very weird. Jesus. You are getting very weird pushback from both men and women. And I don't get it. I get the black women and hoping that you date black women as well. And I think that they just, a lot of black women feel isolated, like they don't have access to a certain class of man. And that's what they do. They categorize men by class, socioeconomic, physical, things like that, just general overall value, mate value. They feel that they don't have access to that, or they have very limited access to that. So even though you might not
Right.
be willing to date them individually, they would like to know that that's less true, that they do have some reasonable access to that class of men. So,
Right.
Yeah, what's your take on that? Have you come to that conclusion because you say you study women? So have you come to that conclusion in your personal life, or am I off base or wrong or
I
something like
do.
that?
I actually have come to that conclusion that a lot of a lot of women right now do feel isolated. And I talked to Melanie King about that yesterday. From what I can tell, it is a matter of, or from her perspective, it's a matter of modern feminism making women become more masculine in how they act, which not only drives men away, but makes men hesitant to pursue the modern woman.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I assumed I was under the impression because it was the 90s when I was your age. I was under the impression that by now, modern feminism would have that younger women just say, listen, I have no part of this. I don't want any part of this. Before feminism, I was working in the house for 4 hours a day. After feminism, I'm working in the house and at work for a total of 14 hours a day. So I assume that by now, feminism would not be a problem. But you're saying that you see that just generally.
Yes, it is it's a pretty general problem. Oh, to answer that, so instead of going to boot camp, will he be going through OCS? No. So I was already going to the University of Houston for business administration. Um, I will simply be going through ROTC and commissioning as an officer that way. So I won't actually be going to OCS. I'll be going through ROTC while I get another degree, or while I get my degree. I will be going to so I'll have a degree and my ROTC for 4 years, and then I will commission through that.
Okay, there you have it. So you're already at the university there in Houston, and with the remaining time, if you do ROTC, that you will be a candidate for the officer program there.
Well, actually, you can commission straight out of ROTC, from what I know.
Okay, I actually
So
was
you won't have
in
to go through a candidate program. You have already done like 4 years of pretty much a preparation.
any specialty when you because it's not nuclear physics, obviously, but I mean any
So
specialty.
the specialty is surface warfare officer. So later in the ranks, like once you get to like lieutenant commander, commander, captain, you can the surface warfare officers command ships. So the interesting thing about that is, say if I were to become an admiral, like a rear admiral, like '07,
Mhm.
if I ever led a nuclear carrier, I would have to go back to nuclear school and once again become a nuclear physicist in order to lead that carrier.
Well, there you
So
go.
I would pretty much be back to where I started if I stayed in for like the entire 25, 30 years.
Okay, I actually was in JROTC. It was a lot of fun. My university didn't have ROTC as it applied to the Navy. We just had the what is it called? AFROC, Air Force ROTC. We didn't have the Army one or the Navy one. So kudos to you. It says, okay, all right. So you already responded to that one. Let me get to this other one. It says, do you got what it takes to command a starship? So what is he like, Captain Cisco now? Like,
I
oh,
don't
that's
I have no idea if I'm even qualified to scrub the floor of any kind of space traveling machine. I let alone command one.
okay. So you cleared up a lot. I wasn't actually going to touch on that, but people were saying, he's pretending to be a nuclear physicist, and
Oh
now
no,
he left. Go for it.
tonight I will be bringing my papers onto the Melanie King show to prove that I was in the nuclear program for the Navy.
Well, I mean, you gave your name, so
Yeah,
people can
my
check to
name as
see if
well.
you are who you say you are, and pretty much outside of the age thing, which is
Oh, I
reasonable given
mean,
the circumstances, you are who you say you are.
let me grab something for you.
All right.
That's actually an interesting comment. If I am who I say I am, now that I've given out my name, I can now show you, without blocking anything, my certification in pharmacy, which I always have handy because,
Well, I mean,
you
don't
never know
have
when
to.
you'll need
I
it.
believe you. Like, so it's,
So
see,
here's the
here's the
actual
thing about me. Okay.
here's the actual national certification,
Okay.
right? And then here is my license in Texas.
Okay. There you go. Y'all seen it here. Hit the like button. Y'all seen it here. He is who he says he is. So Brenda believes you. Actually, there was ladies in the chat. And I don't know if you heard this episode when I was talking about you, but there was ladies in the chat, and I was like, listen, would you fuck this guy? And I think that they're all above 30. They said, no, he's too young. At 27, they were saying this. So, now you're 19. Well, and they said that you look younger. So actually, I think one of them actually said you look 19. So yeah, that was the response from her.
I do have a channel. My channel is the same name as my name here, NS Crisis.
You can put your link in the chat room. I think it's pinned up in the chat room.
I think I did. I think I already sent it.
Yeah.
I'll send it again though.
No, you're good because his channel is linked in the chat. So go ahead and click the top and subscribe to his channel. It has a lot of interesting stuff. So, and I'm about to wrap up because I know that you are probably pressed for time. You got to get ready for the Melanie King show. And she's at 9.5, so I know you want to be ready.
I don't think the Melanie King show is until 7 or 8 tonight, and it's only 3 right now for me.
I'm gonna be honest. I rarely watch her show. I caught the one where the young lady was really looking to give you her virginity. I caught that one, and I get the feeling that she's going to be watching that episode.
I think she'll be on tonight. Interestingly enough.
Oh, so she's gonna be on.
That's gonna be.
Yeah,
that's gonna be interesting. I would like to talk to her, just as like a person to person. So.
I actually, after that show, I tried to hit her in the DMs.
You have her Instagram?
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
I've been looking for that everywhere, and literally no one has given it to me.
I'll give it to you.
I even asked Melanie. I was like, bro, is there any way to like actually contact this person?
Something I should have did that earlier. I wasn't thinking. I should have given it to you earlier, and because I think she would respond if you hit her in the DMs, and I would have had both of you on the show. So, but live and learn. But yeah, I'll give that to you.
Right.
But nevertheless, it's good that she's going to be on with you in the Melanie King show because she seems like a nice enough person. Would you say that you and her are on 2 different levels, or would you give her the 6.5 or better?
From what I could see from her, like just as like a personality and like a looks perspective, I'd say about a 7.8, 7, 8, 8, like week 8, strong 7.75.
Okay. So I'm trying to get into the mindset of the 6.5 because I think women know where they rank relative to other women. So she knows you have a girlfriend, and she knows you have opportunities with women who are an entire point above them. Why does she think she's going to do the paintball thing? This is your field of study, in addition to many others. Why did she feel that the paintball thing was going to happen?
Because regardless of objective reasoning, women are more emotional thinkers than men are. So regardless of objective reasoning, like even if I were to tell you, right, say, because it happens all the time, your girlfriend gets upset because of something that happens. As a man, I may try to calm her down and give her a solution. However, she's not necessarily worried about the solution. She's more upset that there's an issue to begin with. So while we might think, okay, let's get something done, they still have their feelings, right? So they can still be upset about something. Even if it gets fixed, they still might be upset that there is an issue. So we don't really think about that because we think we're used to there's a problem, solve it, move the fuck on.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that it's not the same for them, but it's the way they think is different from the way we think, which is why we should try to at least take an understanding of how they think in order to benefit ourselves. But a lot of us don't think that way.
I agree. I agree. Okay, so somebody said he's trying to shoot a shot. That's weird. Um, it's a weird thing to say in public. I mean,
I am
don't ask questions like that.
I will
Think
simply
people
say that
don't
I am,
understand the concept
yeah.
of committed relationships or even relationships where even if he wasn't, what is he going to say here? What the fuck is wrong? Why would you ask that?
I will simply say that I am not attracted to Anna romantically because I don't know Anna as a person. I have no reason to act off of seeing her on a show one time for me to shoot my shot at someone like that. I don't shoot my shot at someone I do not know. I will talk to somebody, and then from there I'll decide whether or not I like them enough to actually pursue them.
Provided that you're not in a relationship, of course.
Provided that I'm not in a relationship, of course.
Yeah. So, well, there you have it. There you have it, fellas. It says, congratulations on passing the nuclear engineering test. I passed it in 2002. Hey,
Man, the
congratulations to you
Bravo,
too.
yeah, the Bravo crawl is it's a decent test. It's a decent test. Congrats on it. It's good. It's a good test. It is pretty difficult for a normal person, I would say.
For a normal person. The highest physics I had to take was electricity and magnetism, but I didn't take a military related test in physics. My field of science or my field of study was a different science. So
One of my friends from boot camp just told me "Huya boot day." Just texted me "Huya boot day." Oh man, that just gave me like mild PTSD. I'm sorry. Boot day is a mess. I hate boot day.
somebody said, ask him if he knows how to fight. Well, he says he's in martial arts, and
Yep. Yeah.
yeah.
Just
So,
short
I mean,
answer.
you mean like
Yes.
professionally, like, or yeah, because he's in martial arts, so he knows, something in that
Not only
regard.
do I know how to fight, I'm kind of addicted to it. So I wouldn't I wouldn't do anything more than talk about it.
Yeah. So, do you want to fight him? Is that what he's saying? Like, what was that question for? All right. So, you say that you're looking to learn and understand more about women, and you're doing it just because you want to be able to prepare others for them. But it seems like what you said earlier is really adequate preparation, and that is focused on self. Unlike the others who are calling the show focused on her, um,
Right.
focus inwardly to increase value in that regard. Like what? So what more are you looking for in your quest? I'm curious.
Well, not only will helping others, enlighten me, but it also benefits me to help other people with their relationships because then on top of that, maybe if something comes up in my relationship, well, I've already helped someone else with that exact same problem. It might work with me as well.
Okay. I see where you're going with that, kind of like a non-professional relationship counselor. I get where you're going with that. Now, would you be? Are you like Hitch, or you only date, or you would only give advice to serious-minded guys, or are you willing to give advice to serial daters?
I I'm ready to give advice to anyone. It doesn't matter what you're looking for. Not only do I care about like relationship and helping people with their relationships, but I'm also here for, like I said earlier, like education, fitness, fucking financial issues. Oh my God, that's like the biggest thing for guys right now is like, you could have a great job. Are you spending all of your money in a week? It's really like there are so many issues that a lot of people don't pay attention to that can come back into their relationship. Most divorces and breakups are financially related. And it's crazy that we don't make that connection because you can have a great job, absolutely great job. If you gamble all your money away, you're losing it. If you are making poor decisions with what you buy, you're losing it. All of this is important.
I get what you're saying. I think it's I see why you're learning this. Um, the scenarios you gave seem to be a little simplistic, like not gambling if you are suffering the economic impact of gambling is kind of obvious. But I will agree that a lot of men need to practice better spending habits in general. And if you have, and actually, we do have somebody whose channel I frequent, One Master Teacher, who actually reminds me a lot of you. And yeah, he talks about finance as well.
I would like to say that someone in the chat said that they are not going to take financial advice from a 19-year-old. Financial advice does not have to be a lecture. It can be a discussion between two people to come up with an equally beneficial solution for everyone. My age doesn't correlate to how I would be able to discuss something with you. We could both help each other by talking to each other about better ways to spend money and better ways to focus effort in getting money. You could teach me just as much as I could teach you, if you kind of get what I'm saying.
Yeah, so just general conversation is what you're talking about, not where they go to you for, a sit down and actual financial advice and they have their W-2s and everything, for you.
No, of course
Yeah.
not. I don't have that. Like, I don't have the knowledge to just tell you, here's what you should do. No, if you discuss it with me, then maybe I can get an understanding of what's going on, and then we can ping off of each other back and forth on how to improve.
Now, is that some of the things you're going to discuss on your channel?
Yeah.
If you ever want me to come up, let me know. Hit me in the DMs. And okay, so yeah, that's something to look forward to. I recently subscribed to your channel. And you mentioned once again that you say that you want to study women to understand how to best help others. What thus far at 19, because the women in your age category is a lot different, and they are a lot different from the women from when I was 19. So, what would you say is the most vexing thing you've discovered about women in your studies?
The most vexing thing that I have discovered is that they have the ability to think without any logic at all and base any action purely off of emotion. Purely off of emotion. And the issue with that, right, is you cannot logically comprehend 100% anyone's emotions, right? Because I can never know exactly how you are feeling. So if you make an action purely based off of your own emotion without any logical reasoning behind it, that makes it incredibly difficult for us to analyze and help that situation.
Very true.
That's what I will say is the most vexing thing.
Very true. I will say that with that being said, they haven't changed since I was 19 at all. And I think that that's just like a universal thing that will always vex men. Um, Outside of the improvement, what would you suggest that men do with that knowledge, knowing that, because especially someone like yourself and myself to an extent as well, someone who likes to analyze and like a great analytical mystery, like we like to puzzle solve. That being the case, they are unsolvable puzzles, which is maybe a little frustrating, but though I don't really express frustration towards them for being who they are. But yeah, it's complex in that regard. What do you suggest men, young men, do with the information you just gave, knowing that you're dealing with somebody unpredictable and erratic?
Well,
There really isn't advice to well, I shouldn't say that because you might give it, but as far as I know, I can't really give advice on how to deal with erratic.
here's what I will say. It is incredibly vexing because I alone cannot solve it. I need to talk to more people to see if I can learn ways to help the situation. I don't have the answers by myself. That's why it's important for me to talk with people like I'm talking to you right now, to get not only opinions but advice on certain things, so that not only am I learning, but the people in our chat are learning. You may learn something as well. It is important that we all talk to each other and communicate, so that way the answers that we don't have, we can come up with as a group. That's what's important about us talking to each other.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. I think that that's a lot of what I'm doing with this channel. And I think that it comes from the design, the design that I mentioned before. You want to solve puzzles. This is a particularly complicated puzzles, but that doesn't stop the desire of trying to solve it. Yeah, I guess in a nutshell, that's one of the main reasons why I put this page up. Perhaps not necessarily solely as it pertains to modern women, but just modern relationship dynamics and where it went wrong. And you mentioned feminism, and that's the obvious answers. But why did such a ludicrous concept, become so popular? Things like that. So, yeah, that's interesting. Well, I guess that's another question. In your studies, what do you think gravitates? What do you think the gravitation is between modern women and feminism? Or excuse me, why do you think modern women gravitate towards feminism?
So I actually did talk to Melanie King about this last night, and
Okay.
I think the big issue is that a lot of women from the generation before mine worked towards being independent, right? They put in effort, like the generation before me, especially the women, put in effort and became independent from men. There are a lot of women who actually did go out, get high paying jobs, get very good education, and they became independent. The generation under us, and this is not the fault of the generation before mine. The generation, my generation of women and men, unfortunately have the issue with not putting in any effort to get what we want. We want it as soon as we are like see it, we fucking
Instant
want it.
gratification.
Like
Yeah.
like exactly. We go home, we have every video we want to watch on YouTube, every TV show we want to watch on Netflix. It's all right there at our fingertips. So, the generation before us who worked for their independence, instead of my generation's women working for independence, they just want the independence. They want to be that without actually going for it. That's the issue. They want independence, but they aren't willing to actually go forth and get independence. So instead, they say they're independent, but underlying all that surface level word that they speak to you, they are asking you to pay for their bills. They're asking you to take them into your house. They're asking you to raise the kid that they had when they were 16. They don't want to actually be independent. They want the status and the social notion that they are independent because the people before them actually went in and put in the effort. My generation has that problem, especially with absolutely refusing to put in effort, any kind of effort. I think my father once told
You're
me,
talking about both men and women.
yeah, both men and women. My
Okay.
father actually told me my generation was called the Great Resignation because they can't keep a job for longer than like a fucking half a year or some shit. They just absolutely refuse to put in effort for anything that they want, but they want it right then and there because they're so used to having everything in the palm of their hands. That's the one thing I will say is I love technology. Technology is great. It helps us with fucking everything. But we do have to understand that with all of this easy access, we can't lose the effort that we have to put in to get what we want. We have to still self-improve. We have to constantly improve ourselves, but we refuse to do that because we're so used to having everything. Everything. And that's the issue.
Okay. You mentioned the two different types of feminism. It does seem like, from what you describe, it's a third. It's an additional wave of feminism that's
Right.
much different than the one, like, say, Melanie King experienced when in her youth.
Right.
What you're describing is very interesting because it does reek of I want the benefit of both traditionalism and feminism,
Right.
meaning I want the financial support of a 50s housewife and I want the, I want the independence of a modern woman. um, they're actually okay. How are young men reacting to that? Because I'm assuming, if I had to guess, and trust me, I don't really deal with many young people now, but if I had to guess, there's probably just like a mass exited, sort of like, like, oh, I'm not dealing with this, and there's less of a
A little
drive
bit.
to be with a modern woman. That's what I'm
Uh,
assuming.
uh, uh, that's almost right on the money. What it is at this point in time, we see my generation, my like the younger generation of men, we're at this point we are literally just seeing what's going on in front of us. We have all of these women cheating and saying that it doesn't matter that they cheat. We see that they don't care about how many bodies or that they've been with, how many people they've slept with. And that's a thing on both sides of men and women actually. We actually
Mhm.
talked about that today on my channel.
That's
Um
always going to be the case. Well, that's always going to be the case for
yeah.
men. I
Yeah.
lost count years ago. I lost count when I was your age.
Yeah,
So,
it's an issue with both sides that we believe that it's whatever to do whatever we want, which is true. We have free will, but free will comes with free consequences to your actions.
mhm.
So not only do we have, a lot of women we're seeing an influx of cheating, an influx of disrespect in men, which isn't just women's faults. A lot of men are getting used to being disrespected as well. And they allow it to
Wait a minute.
happen.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We're talking young men here. You're saying
Yeah.
that men
Yes.
your age, and maybe even a little younger boys, they're used to, by that time, by that short period of time, they're used to being disrespected.
I am used to being disrespected. I was until about 6 months ago used to being disrespected.
How? Okay.
My girlfriend would constantly, we would crack jokes together, but she would go a little bit further than I would. And it happened relatively often. It's not her fault because our entire generation is like this. And
Well,
I had to
details.
talk to her. We
Describe
talked
the
about it.
disrespect. Describe the disrespect. I'm curious.
Well,
You don't have to detail your own personal
every
relationship, but
no,
you
of
could
course not.
detail someone else's.
No,
Yeah.
this part isn't actually all that private. Um, I go through times where I feel down. Right, everyone has their times where they feel down. Um, but for certain periods, sometimes she would make fun of the fact that I was being down. Like she would make fun of the fact that my mental health wasn't as pristine as it always was. Um, I take care of myself to the point where I like to say that I have a decent bit of control over myself and my emotions. But every once in a while, you do lose control of your emotions. You can feel sad for extended periods of time, and sometimes she would have been like, I don't think you're as in control of your emotions as you say you are. Stuff like that. It's it's a jab to your pride as an individual, and it happens more often to a lot of guys
Right.
um than than it does to women, because men are
Well,
usually known right, for being in control of our emotions, for not being super emotional.
right.
And a lot of the times women always tell us, it's okay to be emotional, and then when you get emotional, they will actually make fun of you for it. It happens all the time. And I did talk to her about it. We did solve the issue, but it really does it gets to a point where you kind of just expect it. You kind of are used to it. It really does happen.
Well, that's interesting. I want to say that that wasn't a jab to your ego. That would be a jab to most people's ego, but that's a stab to your ego, a person who's structured and organized and prides himself on, being these things. The effect is probably double for you. Um, but in addition to that, um, I think, and I don't try to make this a field of my study, but I think that a lot of women do that to disarm the man from reacting in a way that's
Right.
natural. If you anger a person, they will be angry. But they say, oh, you're getting emotional, so in the future
Right.
you will be less. They're shaming you for having, the a general human reaction to things. So yeah, I see what
Exactly.
you're. Yeah, I see what
And
you're saying.
and that's exactly why, like, the younger generation of men, we see this, and a lot of us, you especially see it out in public today. If you notice, a lot of people in the gym right now are like 14, 15, 13, 16-year-olds going to the gym for several hours a day, because at this point we're just so used to being disrespected in our own homes, in our girlfriends' homes, the places we're supposed to be comfortable. The only place where we're actually allowed to, like, be comfortable and not have to deal with anything is when you're going to the gym and you're getting out that stress relief. You're getting out that tension that's building up all the time. And you do see it a lot. It's a huge influx of younger men rushing to the gym to get as big as possible, to push themselves as hard as they can, because if they don't, all they feel like is that they're being disrespected constantly. Constantly disrespected. And it's no one's looking our way when we get disrespected. No one's going to look our way. It could happen right in front of my parents. No one's going to look your way
No one's
ever.
going to
As a
say,
man,
yeah.
as a
No,
man,
no,
if you get
no one.
disrespected,
Besides the
no one
Navy, no one
cares.
told you that you should not tolerate that.
No. I got to understanding it myself because I looked. I do like self therapy. I will sit down somewhere and I will just think for a while. Um, but I came to that conclusion and I had to talk to my girlfriend about that personally. That's something that I had to do. Um, but a lot of people don't do that. So their only way of rectifying that is recluding themselves. They become reclusive. A lot of the younger men are refusing to interact with women because of the fact that not only are these girls pushing them away with saying they want to be independent. If you want to be independent, that's fine. I will respect your independence by not being with you. By
Mhm.
not being with you. If you don't want to depend on me, that's fine. I want someone to depend on me. I want someone to rely on me. As a guy, we want girls to rely on us. A lot of
Mhm.
us want that pride of knowing that we're able to provide for our family, for our spouse. So if you feel that you're independent, that's fine. I'll stay away from you. A lot of women will get upset at them for that. So you're getting upset at us for respecting your wishes. Then on top of that, you are disrespecting us. There's no reason for us to interact with you. So okay, we'll stick to, and I don't mean we in this point. I don't do this a lot
No,
anymore. I used to, but we'll stick to our video games and we'll stick to the gym. That's what they do now. Because
yeah,
the
that was my
vast
predicted
majority of
outcome.
younger women do that. The vast majority of younger women treat them like that. And it's unfortunate.
That was my predicted outcome. The stuff that led to that outcome, I didn't expect. I do go to the gym. I don't really see many teenagers there. However, I go very late. And as far as and the ones I do see, it looks like they're with their dad or their coach or something, like they're high school athletes. But I have noticed that younger men are like, more into video games and things like that, just existential things. And
But it's
I can understand why from what you've described to me.
I
Um,
would say though, I would say though that it's not just the women at fault. You also have to think about it. Like I said, it's the men that are allowing it to happen. They're allowing it to happen. No one is telling these girls that it's disrespectful that they're doing this. No one's telling them that it's wrong. So it keeps happening. If you are having that issue, you should be able to communicate instead of just letting something happen. You can't let something happen. You can't just walk away from it. There has to be a clear and open communication, and a lot of men aren't doing that. Why? Because once again, my generation refuses to put in effort. It's an effort thing. They refuse to put it in. So these men are choosing not to put in the effort to fix their issues, and instead they choose to just walk away.
I wouldn't blame your generation for that. For one, because they've been men for quite some time, um, or excuse me, for a little bit of time, and yeah, I wouldn't really blame your generation for that. I think that your generation looked to my generation and don't really see the masculinity there that they need in order to be effective. Um, put it like this. Put it like this. Your generation looks to my generation and they see a bunch of niggas on the pineapple show.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
that's another big issue. We
yeah,
see
it is.
men rush off to basically dance for women live in front of thousands of people.
Monkey dancing, yes. Like, how does that teach young men to behave in a respectful manner, to wait in
It
line
doesn't.
to beg for pussy? Like, that's
Doesn't. Not at all.
yeah. So
Absolutely not.
yeah, so I wouldn't like not much is your fault at 19. And I know
19 going on 18. That's actually correct. It is 19 going on 18. I turned 19 in 3 days. So yeah, I'm right at that cusp. Right at that cusp. I turned 19 in 3 days.
yeah. Okay, so Mr. Know It All do know it all. He just guessed your age. Yeah. So this is the third age that you had 27, and now you just get younger and younger every time. Yeah. So
Listen, if someone asks me my age, I'm just gonna say 19. 3 days away from being 19, it's 19.
you're rounding off. Yeah. But no, I mean, and my generation was, misguided by the previous generation, and I call that the stepdaddy generation, where, it's like
Man,
it's men have become compromising, and that's our way to adjusting to feminism, adjusting to a market where women isn't financially dependent on them, and there are fewer women actually accepting traditional roles, so they become a lot more compromising over the years that devolved to what you described. And what you described is pretty freaking sad. And that's why I,
it is.
have this space, so
I
they can.
find it I find it very, very depressing that not only are we seeing men reclude themselves from women, they are actually they're resorting to false intimacy um, through like what I don't how do I explain it? So
Like
essentially,
porn.
like yesterday, Melanie and I talked about OnlyFans specifically because it's a platform where not only are the women doing it by themselves without a big corporation, but you're able to interact with them personally via chat messaging system. They are willing to resort to false intimacy between a girl that they don't know, um, rather than simply talking to a woman. They would choose to pay to experience a false sense of security and intimacy than simply going out and pursuing it themselves. And it's really sad. It is really sad.
All right. So people talking shit. All right. Here, let me respond to the chat right quick. What is overweight? Fat is overweight. And I don't want to hear y'all say, listen, I know a woman who's 250 pounds and she has a six pack. I don't want to hear that shit. She's 7'1". I don't want to hear about your anomalies. Everybody knows a fat ass bitch when they see one. So stop saying like, oh, what's overweight? Stop trying to be as fat as you possibly can before I call you fat. Stop doing that. If I say 140 pounds is too fat, your ass will be 139. Stop trying to play games. You know when you're a fat ass bitch. I know one when I see one. And secondly, what is it with y'all just trying to catch the dude in a? You see this one? You see this one?
Which one?
So I'm fat. So like, listen, it's not did I give a pound? Did I draw a line and say, if you are above this weight, you're fat? No. If I look at you and I see that you're fat, you're fat. That's what fat means. God damn it. Stop trying to minimize. Stop. You see, this is the shit. Y'all got to put up with this shit. Because men like me didn't draw the line more. And now it trickled down to your generation, and they come with all this weird stuff. And
A
to
lot
every
of people a
oh,
lot of people are seeming to complain about the fact that I don't have a degree in nuclear physics, which I kind of already went over.
no, what they're
Um,
doing is they're probing for weaknesses. They're
Yeah.
probing for stuff to say like, oh, this guy is not a nuclear physicist PhD. He's not 20. They're just looking for
Yeah.
something to bitch.
Um,
Don't.
to
He is
to
winning,
Christian
and you are looking to referee and say he's not winning. Stop it. You lose.
to Christian Hutchinson, who says he cannot commission as an officer at 19. A a just first and foremost, that's not objectively true. You're actually lying out of your teeth on that one. You can actually become an officer at any age over 18 as long as you have a degree or went through 4 years of ROTC. Secondly, like I said, I am not commissioning at this time. I am studying and going to the University of Houston and going through my 4 years of ROTC to commission. So I think you're misinterpreting what I'm saying.
Like, stop it, fellas. Just stop it. Like, for real. Just and this is what, and see, this right here is why I even made a video about you in the first place. Because I honestly was like, hey, this is no big deal. They're not compatible, and she pineappled 100 other guys. Like, it's not supposed to be a big deal, but it's reactions like this. It's like the fact that it's brothers that just trying to take you down for whatever reason was just baffling to me. It's like no matter what, he's going to be okay. He's going to win. This was not the last vagina on earth. He moved on immediately after, which is why he called in to, stop the people from shaming her. Everything is that was my first video on this, but come on, y'all still probing? Y'all still probing? What the hell is wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you? If I ask you your dress size or your weight, I bet you I'm gonna get three different answers. Oh no, I'm a size 10,
I,
or
I
no,
am.
I mean
I'm
12, or
19,
no,
I
I mean
swear.
4. What the hell?
At
What
this
the
point,
hell?
I'm just
How long is
being.
your hair? How long is your hair? And then I'll ask, and then I'll get a different answer depending on the wig you got on that day. Don't stop bothering people. Stop messing. This dude is 19 and he has a well planned future. Stop messing with people. The
I like
hell?
Shida. I like Shida. Shida's funny.
Yeah,
But
it
please
is
stop
funny, but
bullying
I'm
me.
just
I
saying.
swear to
Yeah.
God, I'm 19, bro. Please. Like 3 days away, I'm basically 19. Please. Like, it's not
Yeah.
that serious.
So yeah, dang, I forgot what were we talking
I'm
about before
hurt.
that. Oh, like modern feminism and how it's affecting young men. And so I kind of predicted that they would recluse, and I kind of noticed it with younger family members of mine that some of them have girlfriends and some don't, but most of them kind of live like this vape. And not just the members of my family, but in fact, not every member that's in that age group of my family are behaving this way, but they're kind of just like finding comfort in other things. I don't know about the OnlyFans
Right.
portion, but I see like vaping and video
Yeah.
games and stuff, and that's always been a thing even when I was 19. But um, it wasn't a substitute for man-woman interaction. I will say that, and I I now know that that is going to become an extreme problem. I did a video on Hatashamore where in Japan it's so prevalent that they have a name for it, um, and for exactly what you just described. So,
Right.
and these people were, I guess, diagnosed as clinically depressed. It was kind of sad. It was a sad video,
It
but
is.
yeah, and it's troublesome that this generation is going through that. I can't really see many healthy families coming from that type of culture.
Yeah.
Now, I do partly blame you. I know you say you're too young to blame, but I do partly blame you. I think that the attraction that you mentioned with Melody King, outside of the obvious physical,
Mhm.
to these hyper successful, hyper driven, hyper independent woman, though it's benign initially, it does lead to what you're experiencing now.
I wouldn't say that I'm attracted to a woman who is independent. I would say, like I said with Melanie King, that my attraction to her stands from her like she exudes a professional energy, and I like professionalism in my women. That
Mm-hmm.
is what I am attracted to. It's not necessarily the independence. It's not even necessarily the age. The age just isn't a deterrent for me. What I'm attracted to is more of the fact that she is professional.
Yeah, here's the thing. I understand that. What I'm saying is that, and we've talked about this and how logic don't really apply to them. Now you haven't experienced this yet because the girls your age or the women your age still have a metabolism. But there are a lot of 250-pound women walking around saying, oh yes, I am so professional. How come you don't want me?
Yeah.
So that's an example of taking what someone like you say and like, oh yeah, they like them professional. So, you'll see Lizzo with a business suit, with a Michelle Obama suit, wondering what's
Yeah.
wrong, wondering how she
I
can't man this nuclear physicist.
yeah.
Like, so
It's
I'm saying like
definitely
that's
it's
how
definitely
they think.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not about what people say. It's about how they portray themselves. You can say whatever you want. It's not going to change anyone's opinion on you. Putting on a suit doesn't make you professional. Putting on glasses doesn't make you smart. It's not about necessarily what you even say. You have to add everything together, and that's what you portray yourself as. A lot of people want to change one part about themselves and say that that makes them a completely different person. You cannot become a completely different person by only changing part of yourself. You have to improve yourself to a point where you are unrecognizable from where you were prior to become a different person.
Agreed. Agreed. Once again, that gets misinterpreted because of the emotional factor and just the different ways that they think. But I definitely agree with that statement. I knew what you meant when you said that. That that added to a combination of other things is, you know, what what helps with your interest in her. And I'm not saying you have a romantic interest towards her, but it helps with a rating of 9.5, which is extremely high in my book. I'm not saying high for her. I'm saying that's just extremely high for any woman. And let's see. So, yeah, apparently she agrees with you. Somebody said something that I wanted to. Somebody said Melody King is your sugar mama. Let's see.
I wish, god damn, I wish I was getting even a fraction of the money they were making off of these videos. Jesus Christ.
Well, go on the Pineapple Show again. Maybe it'll happen one day. Maybe your channel will
Yeah.
grow. Well, I mean, the
Well,
more
the
you
channel's gonna
study,
grow.
well, I mean, because most of the relationship talks in these spaces tend to take place with somebody 30 plus.
Right.
So I can see your channel going very far in that regard, being 19 or being 18 and 362 days. I could see your channel going very far in that regard because you can give a younger perspective on that, and plus you have a very cerebral perspective. So I could see that happening. Um, you know reasonably quick, and I can do what I can to help facilitate that. But yeah, maybe a sugar mama or two, um, could help with that endeavor as well. Who knows? Who knows?
Boy, I wish.
Yeah. Um, says so. High value men don't desire BBWs.
Actually, I would say that a lot of bigger women still have options. Still have options.
Do they have
It's
you as an option?
yeah, they have I would say that even some high value men, even if it's a guilty pleasure for them, would still go for bigger women.
No, I'm saying, do they have you as an option? Do you go for bigger women?
Huh?
Do you go for bigger women?
Um I've been with one before.
What's your okay? Um, Tell me her body type in comparison to somebody famous.
You want me to wait, say that again?
You say that you were with a bigger woman, right?
I was.
Bigger could mean like Kim Kardashian bigger, or like whose body type would you say she most resembles?
That's it's difficult to subscribe or to describe. I would say she had more of a pear shape. Um she probably weighed about 20 or 30 pounds more than the average woman at that age. At the time we were 16 or 15. So let's say she probably weighed about 170 pounds. She was like 5'7", 5, 6.
Okay, so you do like BBWs, or you're open to dating them?
I don't really have like now I would say that I have my types, but I mean I'm just as attracted to an athletic type as I am to like a really like like a more compact type. I'm also really into um like a thicker girl. Um
Well,
I
there's
don't
thick
have
and
like a
then there's
primary
fat.
type.
No, well, yeah, there's yes, you do, but there's thick and then there's fat.
Um I don't I don't know. I mean, there's obviously a point to where I believe that it could be unhealthy. And when it gets to a point where I believe that it could be like a danger to their health is when I like stop I would stop thinking of them as attractive. Um and you can kind of tell when it gets to that point where it's like it's dangerous for you to be at that weight.
Okay. Okay, I'm actually trying to picture 5'7", 170, but once again, it fluctuates so much. But so you're not in the big girls, you're in the thick girls, right before the cusp of being big, and I understand that. I
Um
understand. Okay, stop
I
saying
think
all
I'm
right,
okay with I think I'm okay with being big.
fat.
It's just yeah, I'm fine with that level. I think it's when it gets to a point where they would consider you like morbidly obese is when I'm like, oh yeah, that's a little that's a little much.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I suspect that that is part of the disrespect that you were talking about earlier. I think that being fat for a woman is disrespectful
Really?
to a man, particularly like you. Yes, because basically it shows a lack of all the characteristics that you possess yourself. Meaning that you work out, you're diligent in martial arts and things like that, and you possess a physique that represents that or that reflects that rather. For her to come with less than that is disrespectful at best, and also it really shows to the instant gratification that you were talking about. Um, Being fat is a sign of instant gratification as it
Oh, for
relates to
sure.
nutrition. As it relates to nutrition. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. So to possess these red flags and to still assume that she's on equal footing to you
Oh,
or as
Schneider.
you is disrespectful. Yeah, that is a microaggression. Well, it's not micro because they're big, so they're macro. But that is a microaggression. It's like um, I'm big, you're in shape, but because I have a vagina and you only have a penis, we're equal and we should be together. I think that that's part of the disrespect pattern that you're referring to.
Yeah, yeah. I actually do believe that it's I wouldn't say that it's disrespectful for them to be big. I would say that it's disrespectful for them to improve themselves in order to date you. Like if, for example, if you're in a relationship with a girl and say at that time you were 20 years old and at that time she gets comfortable, right? Everyone gets comfortable in a relationship eventually and she starts letting herself go. If at some point you sit down with her and you talk to her and you're like, I really don't like the fact that you're neglecting taking care of yourself. And then at that point, she decides to say, well, I don't see why you can't like me as I am. At that point, because of the fact that she is refusing to improve herself to stay with you, I believe that is disrespectful because women will always want you to keep a certain standard.
Mhm.
But a lot of the times, they will say that they don't want to keep that same standard.
So they're saying that to you prior to actually getting with you. And you are because basically you're setting a precedent for your own standard when you get with
Right,
that. You're saying
right,
that this is acceptable.
exactly.
And yeah, exactly. So the presentation of it just seems to me as if it's what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, it's a microaggression. It's like, this is what I plan to be when we're together. I don't value you enough to actually change for you. You see, because you are working towards the thing that you want, and that is to become a naval officer. You are
Right.
working towards that. You're not saying take me as I am. You know,
No, of course not.
you're saying that okay, I have the potential. I am going to improve because I feel that the United States Navy is worth the more improved version of me. A fat chick is not saying that to you. She's saying that this is not my best, but this is what you deserve. That is the disrespect. I think that's very similar to, and once again, you mentioned that your generation is not really used to it, so they don't know that it exists. But yeah,
Right.
fat women are very disrespectful by virtue of being fat. So yeah,
No, that's true. What Shida just said is true. Men that are extremely overweight also need to work on themselves. I
no, no,
advocate for
no,
the
no, 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 no.
self-improvement of
That's not this.
everyone.
No, okay. Here's the thing. It's that's not the disrespect. If a BBW get with a M, a big man, because men aren't
Right.
beautiful, but like if they, that's not disrespect. It's
No, that's
disrespect when
not
they
what I'm
get.
saying.
It's
That's not what
disrespect
I'm
when they get.
saying.
No, I'm responding to the chat room. It's disrespect when they get at him. It's disrespect to the efforts that he put to improve himself that they do not put into improving themselves, but they see themselves as equal. That's disrespectful.
Right. What I'm saying is more along the lines of, not only do I believe that people that are extremely, or women that are, morbidly obese need to lose that weight, not I believe that men do as well. Men should
Agreed.
also attempt to lose weight. They should attempt to improve themselves. At all times, you should be attempting to improve yourself. There is no reason for you to stop improving yourself at any point.
I agree. I agree. Okay. You touched on something else that I want to go into, and that is the OnlyFans phenomenon.
Okay.
So, are you saying that the young men are connecting with these women on a pseudo relationship level, kind of like they know it's not real, but they appreciate the
That
illusion?
is exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying that they are willing to settle for a false reality in which they can request that that girl makes a video of them inviting them into their house, or coming home and cooking dinner for them, or going and talking to them about their day. They can request these false realities to settle with, instead of actually going out and pursuing a real woman, because they're tired. They're done with what's going on. They don't want to do it anymore. They've been through it already. Especially in high school, you're always going through seeing what the modern woman is, because the teenagers in high school are looking to the hot 22-year-old girls for what they should be. Oh, I want to be like that attractive girl online. She's living the independent life. She's going to Miami every other week. They want to be that. So these guys, they see that and they're tired of it. They don't want a girl that disrespects them. They don't want a girl that pushes them away. And then when they walk away from being pushed away, they get upset with the man for walking away after they push them away. They don't want to deal with that. So they would actually end up rather going to these sites like OnlyFans, where they can experience something that makes them feel even like a guilty pleasure. It really is unfortunate. It's very sad. It's very depressing.
Oh, okay. Wow. So basically, the guys are so tired of being pineappled that they go and get a virtual, virtual fruit or whatever you want to call it. That's I know OnlyFans exist. I did not know that it was a sort of relationship substitute, which is what you're describing. I viewed OnlyFans as like live interactive porn. I've never been to OnlyFans, but I do watch porn. I assume that it was the like
Right.
live interactive version of that. And now that you tell me that it's something different, and
It's
trust me,
an
I
intimacy.
don't
It's an
judge.
intimacy thing.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
really
And
is.
I don't really like to pretend. I don't like to seem as if I'm judging how people get off. But here's what I worry about this. I'm not a therapist, but here's where I worry that this could lead to for men and boys is it, it. So you come across a woman who probably is not affected by the modern world, modern feminism, whatever you want to call it, and because I'm worried that these men might actually genuinely see themselves as taken because of these type of relationships. I do worry about that. That's what I was trying to articulate.
There are definitely a select few that will develop some sort of neurotic connection to these girls over OnlyFans. There's definitely that case. There are guys that develop a neurotic connection with idols or pop stars, and they believe that that's the woman for them, and that's the only woman they'll ever even attempt to be with, they'll ever fantasize over, they'll ever idolize. That is an actual thing that does happen.
Well, no,
Now,
I'm not talking
it
about the
happens even
extreme.
more. It happens even more with OnlyFans because of the fact that they're actually able to talk to these women.
Yeah,
It does
I'm not
happen
really talking.
even more.
Not really talking about the extremists, like the guys who are outside of Rihanna's window or something like that. I'm not really talking about those. I'm talking about more like a typical person who has a pretty decent, six available to him. That's your average. He has a decent six available to him, but he's so enamored by this nine that she pales in comparison, and that he's like she looks less than a six because he's so connected and so vested into this nine. You see where I'm going with that? I do worry about that.
I believe that that could be an issue. It could it could be an issue that the average person could end up feeling like this. It's it's important to note that a lot of the time these women on OnlyFans are acting. That's their job, is to act as though they really are in a relationship with these guys over the screen. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of the times they do position themselves to be a virtual girlfriend. And so these guys, these normal guys could actually end up feeling that kind of way. They could. And even with a girl right there in front of them that they could, be in a relationship with, there's a good chance that it's they'll turn them down. There's a very good chance of that.
Somebody said it's like the strip club. Yeah, I only been to a
Um,
strip club maybe like 5 times in my entire life.
I've
Um,
been probably 4 times.
okay.
It's a little bit more compact because I'm younger, but yeah,
Yeah.
I would say that I've been there. It is
Well,
actually Master Viper.
it's
That is a
very
great,
compact because you've only been 18 for
yeah.
so long. Yeah.
Viper, that is actually a very good analogy. A lot of the girls in the strip club will actually try and be more sensual than they will be sexual. They will actually try and talk to you like they care because they'll make more money that way. It's true.
Holy crap! So they've been doing that this whole time.
Yeah, no, it's a real thing. It's a real thing.
So wait, so they actually come up, ask you for your name, and pretend to be your. But I mean, it
They'll
seems like it
they'll
seems
ask
like
you to. Well, they won't pretend to be with like you, like that automatically. Once you get a dance with them, once you go to the back room, they will start treating you like you are like theirs. They'll try and treat you like
oh,
they're the only person that you'll need. They will treat you like that. And that's why so many guys who go to the strip club end up coming back every week. Every week. And it's detrimental to their economic state. Absolutely detrimental to their economic state.
holy crap! Okay.
It is easy to lose 4 grand in a night at a strip club. The first time I ever went to a strip club, I was going to vacation in Minnesota to meet up with some friends that lived in Minnesota. We went to a strip club. It was me and a bisexual girl. We both went to a strip club,
Hmm.
and I think together we spent $4,500 in one night. because we had one stripper.
Wait. Who
That
spent the most? Who spent the most?
that's a good fucking question. I think I spent probably 1900
Okay,
probably. So she might have spent a little bit more than me.
gotcha.
We spent so much money because this one stripper talked to us about our lives. Like they had a conversation about our lives, and the whole time we were just giving her money. We were just giving her money because she was
Holy
dancing.
crap!
She was giving us lap dances. She was drinking with us, and she was for legal reasons. That's a joke. And um, we were fucking like just talking to her the whole time. We had an actual conversation with her. They treat you like you're supposed to be treated like a girl, and you fall for it. And I had just turned 18 the day prior. The reason I went to Minnesota for vacation was because I had turned 18. So we went out and we did a bunch of adult shit. Seriously, at that time, I wasn't used to it. I wasn't used to like that
No, I
form
get
of
it. I get it. I
that form
wasn't
of
thinking much. I went
entrapment.
to the first time, so maybe that
Yeah,
gave me an advantage.
it
Also, I
was
didn't
an
have $4,000.
entrapment.
I'm at that age, but wow. I didn't know, and maybe they're adapting to a changing market, but I didn't. Oh, and strip clubs are bigger in Texas. I forgot
No,
about that.
yeah, but I didn't. I've only went to one strip club in Texas though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, wow. So I only been to the back room once, and she didn't counsel me. Okay, so here's my story. This chick who I wasn't particularly attracted to, but she said that normally in the back room you can't touch the girls.
Depends on where
But
you go. Depends on where you go,
well,
man.
this is in California. And but she said, and I'll never forget this. She said, "But you can touch me for an extra $20." And so
20.
the people,
Jesus, she's cheap.
yes,
Holy
she
fuck.
is. She is. Well, she wasn't that high. Well, I don't know how much they generally cost, but she didn't counsel me or anything like that either. But she said that to avoid like security or management getting a hold of that $20, she's gonna shove
Right.
it up her ass. And that is why I
Whoa.
went to the back. I wanted to see her shove a $20 bill up her ass. I kid you
Wow.
not.
That's interesting.
I was so curious. Exactly. But that was the only time I've been to the back.
Yeah, the
Was
champagne room has different rules. In a lot of
okay.
places, the champagne room is where shit goes down. Shit
Well,
goes down in champagne
that's
room.
where shit literally went down because she shoved the $20 bill up her ass. And
Yeah.
I actually wanted to see if it was other $20 up there. I wanted to see how much money she had.
Ooh, changer.
How much
Ooh,
money was she
changer.
smuggling out the strip club in her ass? I got
Ooh,
it
changer. You're
went
playing. You're
beyond like
playing the risky game called "How much money can I spend in one night at the strip club?"
okay.
Man, that is a risky
Well,
game. It's a
I
risky
mean,
game.
hey, it would be amazing if she had $4,000 shoved up her ass. That would be like a sight to see. I'm gonna be honest. Like,
Whew.
yeah. So it
Yeah,
says,
no.
why weren't you attracted to her? So, okay, so, and like I said, only been a few times. You have regular strippers who are the ones who have mastered the poles. The
Oh
ones who,
man,
yeah. So,
do you know how
and then,
strong they are?
yeah, no, that is impressive. I am impressed
Their
by that.
back muscles, their
Yeah,
back muscles are so guys, I'm sorry, I like athletic girls. Their back muscles are so fucking fine. Oh my god, their back muscles are so toned. God, it's
yeah.
crazy, dude. It's crazy.
No, yeah, yeah. So she wasn't one of those.
Mm.
Which is what made her far less attractive. She wasn't one of those. And not only that, she didn't have any dance ability whatsoever. Nor was her lingerie. Her lingerie was not lingerie, it was just underwear.
That
Um,
why is she there?
well,
I'm gonna be
she's
honest.
there
Why
to
is she there?
shove $20 bills up her ass by people like myself that think that that just is curious. It's kind of like she was there like as a freak show type deal,
God
like
damn. She's
so
she's the clown. Fuck.
I guess so. She's the clown. Like she walked
Yikes.
around in her underwear with no lingerie, and yeah, she just stood there and went and talked to the guys and said, "I'll shove $20 up my ass and let you touch my tits." that was her, and I
Yikes.
really wanted to see somebody shove $20 up their ass.
I hope she's cleaning out her ass if she's shoving
Well, I
$20 up
hope
there.
she's cleaning the $20 off. What do you? I don't care. I'm not gonna touch her ass ever. But I'm hoping that she cleans the $20 off before she spends it. That's the whole
I mean,
ordeal was just
she
intriguing to me.
cleans it. If she cleans it out first, she doesn't have to. She doesn't have to clean off the $20.
There's
Now she has
always
to
ass
clean off
residue.
every $20.
There's always ass residue. Come on now. There's always some ass plasma or something going on
You
back there.
clean
No
it up
matter what, it's an
for a
ass.
long
Okay.
time. You can
No matter
substantially
how
clean it
much you
up.
clean an ass, it's still an ass. No, and everything that touches it is off limits.
Yo,
You
that's
know.
fucking hilarious. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So that was the only time that I did it. I did not know that they was back there counseling. Now that same night, because there's always like a headliner. There's always like a chick who's just like top pole chick, just top body, just top everything. There's always a top girl. And that same night, a Japanese or Korean guy would not let her go. He was back there all night with her. He was just dropping bread.
I did the math, and in Minnesota, the strip club I went to,
Mhm.
if you were to stay the entire night in the back room on the bed, because they had beds in Minnesota, if you stayed the entire night on the bed.
Wait a minute. Stop right there.
Wait a minute.
I got to get a visual.
Okay. You laid down. Okay, so there's a bed. You laid down on the bed, and then you could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 girls all just like surround you, and like they would sit on you. They would mess with your body. They put your tits in. They put their tits in your face. Your ass in your face. I'm sorry.
What size bed?
I'd say it's about either a full or a queen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm listening.
And they would, they'd put all kinds of stuff in your face that, I've said too much. I'm afraid of getting your video demonetized, so I won't say too much.
I'm never monetized. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so
feel free to curse like a sailor.
There's you heard that. There's all kinds of stuff that they do, and we were just. I calculated it. If you were to stay on the bed the entire night with one girl, it was $6,000 for the entire night with that one girl. And if you had two, it'd be 12, and so on and so forth. Oh, and you could touch them.
And so they're dry humping you on the bed.
They're doing whatever on the bed. If you get the right girl, they will do whatever. Get the right girl, do whatever. You have to. That's the scary part about strip clubs. There might be a girl who is getting drunk and will do whatever to you. You don't know if she has something. You don't know if she's burned. You have to be careful, not only with your money, but with your property. Don't get burned at the strip club. That's the most dumb thing you could do, is get burned at the strip club. Don't get burned at the strip club.
I've been burned before, but not at the strip club. But
do not bring a condom to the strip club. You will look weird as fuck if you bring a condom to the strip club.
Well, you get burned with a condom on.
You can.
I like oral raw. I won't accept oral without I don't accept oral with a condom. If I get burned, I get burned. I actually keep penicillin with me because I make my dentist give me extra. But yeah. Sometimes it happens. But anyway, the whole it's on a bed thing. Now, we have a club in San Francisco, but it's not a strip club, it's a sex club. You bring your girlfriend there and you get to fuck, and you get to watch others fuck too, which I do like to do. I do like to watch and be watched. However, those are under, the entire place is under a black light. Please tell me that they had a black light in the room that you described.
Yeah, I would say there's a black light.
So it's a black light, and you see, because the black light tells you if there's any nasty business going on the sheets or stuff like that. So it's okay in that regard.
Let me rephrase what I said. There's a light that gives out light that looks like a black light, but it does not alert you to any bacteria. it is like aesthetically a black light, but it does not do the function of a black light.
Okay. Dude, that's
Yeah.
just nasty. That's just would you just that's just nasty.
You got to be careful. You got to be careful at the strip club. Don't lose your money. Don't potentially lose your male genitalian organ.
Okay, so in the Dominican Republic,
Okay.
I
Ooh, the Dominican Republic.
yeah, I've been to the Dominican Republic. And I filmed it here on my show, right? And went to the red light district, should be the black light district.
Oh.
And well, why you say that?
I've only been to one red light district in my life. It was when I was 7 years old. My parents were walking down Orlando at night.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
And
boy,
you just
some of
got
those.
stuck there.
Nope. They wanted to show my sisters
What the hell?
places. They wanted to show my sisters places to avoid. The only issue was I was 7 years old, so they had to take me along. They couldn't leave me in a hotel room by myself. So, guess who had to walk down a red light district when they were 7? I cried. I was like, why the fuck is everyone naked? I cried.
Wait a minute.
Oh my God.
Wait, how old was your sisters when this happened?
They were 15 and 16. They were telling them not to go to places that they don't need to be at.
Okay. I actually like your dad for thinking up shit like that. I do. I'm not gonna lie. You know, that's interesting because they didn't wind up in that place because you mentioned that your sister's married. So, that's definitely a plus. Yeah, but in the Dominican Republic, I interviewed 2 hoes, right? And they actually wouldn't leave. They came to me. They seen I was there with the laptop talking. They didn't speak English, so just spoke Spanish. And I gave them some money and told them that they could go get some ice cream. And then I was like, okay, they gone. Then they came back with French fries. And that video is still up. They came back with French fries and offered to share it with me. And I asked them, it was 2. I got their picture. I said, how much? And you want to know what they said?
What?
$40.
$40?
Yeah. So
I don't think they were talking about the French fries. Real shit.
no, I was asking how much for sex, right? Now I don't speak Spanish, but I know what 2,000 pesos is. But an interpreter, a person on here, Marco, who does speak Spanish, he said that was for both. That was for both.
Both of them?
If trust me, that's his translation. So it's either 40 for 2 or 80 for 2.
Oh, okay. That's wild. Either way, that's really cheap. Like incredibly cheap.
And this is a picture. They weren't ugly or anything like that. They weren't the hottest ones that I've seen on that particular strip, but they weren't ugly or anything. And yeah, so that's cheaper than 6Gs. I didn't know that it was like that much of a difference in cost. It's actually more. So in America, it costs more in dollars than it does in pesos. That is wow.
Yeah.
Somebody says money goes a long way down there. Yeah, apparently so.
Yeah, United States money goes way. Yeah.
So no, I was just saying that's interesting. But wow, I didn't know that Minnesota had beds and everything, with that.
I don't know which states or if it's only that place that has beds. I just know that they have beds. They have rooms and then they have beds.
Okay. No, that's pretty cool. So that would be like one of the what happened with you and the bisexual girls, what I'm saying.
I'm sorry?
So you go into a strip club with a bisexual girl.
Correct.
You spend $4,000 collectively to get hot and bothered. And then y'all walk out together.
Yeah.
How did the two of you relinquish all of that built up energy? Curious.
It was me, a bisexual woman who is my friend, and another one of our friends that were staying at a hotel together because we were driving around and shit. we didn't really do anything because once again, I've been in a relationship for the past 2 years, so
Oh, this
we
was
were
within the
definitely.
last 2 years. Well, it had to be
Well,
because you'd be a minor.
yeah,
Yeah.
because yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Okay. No, I mean, you could continue to tell a story, but I'm just saying, never mind, because I thought that
Nothing.
you
Yeah,
might
nothing
jump about it.
happened.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
got
was
you.
just gonna say nothing happened.
Okay. Okay. So you never actually experienced the bed or anything, given the circumstances, because you've been in a relationship your entire adult life.
Pretty much.
Okay. Hmm. All right. That's interesting. So, and at that strip club, what did you learn? Because you say you're a student of woman nature. What did you learn about that?
Oh, what
Oh,
did I learn? I learned do not talk to the strippers about your life because you'll end up thinking they're like interested in talking to you, and then you will end up spending a lot of money.
so did they? So this is interesting. Do you think the pineapple girl would make a
Mm.
good stripper?
uh, Good question. I'm not answering that. I really don't want any issues.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. And it's not that I'm trying to picture her naked. I wonder if placed in a situation where she had to garner the attention of men and she had to sustain the conversation, which is the reverse of being in the pineapple situation.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Unless they were already interested in her, I don't think so.
Well, no, I mean, but you say that this girl got you a conversation, so this would be reversed. She would actually be going up to the guys when the competition is not in her favor because there are other strippers there, and she would be the one
Right.
hoping to not get pineappled. I wonder how she would fare in that environment. And this isn't hate towards her. I'm just curious because I don't know. Like, would she just go up and be like, "Oh, you like paintball? We need to go paintballing," and then just take $100? Like, I wonder how that goes.
I don't think a guy's gonna ask you if you want to go paintballing on a dating show ever. That's not a. I don't even think that's gonna be brought up. I think realistically on a dating show, if it's like a reverse pineapple, it is definitely going to be more along the lines of like, what's your height? How much do you weigh? Where do you see yourself? Are you more submissive or dominant? Questions like that. They won't even get to where you're going to like, what do you like to do for fun, unless you answer those questions. And here's the kicker: a lot of those girls don't like to answer those questions. They don't. So they won't even
Those
make it.
seems like
They're
I
not even
never
going to
seen
make it
like
to the
the
audition.
pineapple shows where they had the guys on it, but those seems like
They
pretty
don't.
straightforward
They don't
questions.
have
But
them.
I don't think that they like to be interviewed at all because they're used to being in a sexually dominant position.
Exactly.
Um,
They will not. I guarantee you, maybe 1% of the men that show up, like if you were to make a reverse pineapple show, the chances of a woman entering that chat to call him for that male are astronomically low, incredibly low. And if they get on, I guarantee you, ask them about their height, ask them about their weight, ask them if they're going to be submissive or dominant. I guarantee you, either they will quit or they will answer in a way that you don't like, and you'll end up pineappling them. Guarantee. They're not going to make it to what do you like to do for fun.
well, I definitely think that that's true for most men. I don't think that that's true in your case, simply because it's understood that yeah, Kevin Samuels, no, I get it. It's understood that there's competition revolved just around your brand right now,
Yeah,
and
that's
like you were
I'm
saying
talking for the
earlier.
general guy.
Yeah. Oh
For the
no, for the
general guy.
general guy, even if he is handsome, you're right. It's not going to really fly. He needs some type of clout, notoriety, fame, whatever you want to call it. He needs something else to assure that other women want him and that they're competing for him, because they're not really competing for the guy. They're competing for the bragging rights of beating other women.
Right.
And once that's established, then you can go for that. You're familiar with
Yeah.
Kevin Samuels, I'm assuming.
The main issue why I think women will not go on a reverse pineapple show is because women aren't willing to be humiliated like that.
They're not
Yeah,
used to
yeah.
it.
Melli did a pineapple show for men and no one showed up. they're not willing to be humiliated. They're not willing to go live and be the subject of criticism. They don't do that.
Right. The pattern of disrespect and things like that,
Right.
the social conditionings that made young men and older men like that don't exist for women. I agree.
Exactly.
Once again, this comes from being used to being in a sexually dominant position, and not a dominant position during sex, but a sexually more sought after position.
Now,
Supply and
someone,
demand, if you want to call it. Let me read this right quick. It says, "Salute GC, salute NS." Was this crisis?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he
Is that
asked
a
a he
reference
asked
to
a
something?
question. I answered it earlier. He asked me if I'm going to continue making content. I am.
Okay, perfect.
He also asked me if I like big booty strippers or small booty strippers. Um, it really depends. It really depends on like the whole package. I won't pick a stripper based on just the size of their ass. I literally won't. Like if I find that their face like really unattractive, I'm gonna be like, I don't want your face in my face. Like I don't. And then if their breath smells bad, oh my fucking god,
That happened to you?
get away from me. Has it happened where like they come up and they smell like dog breath? Yeah, it's happened.
Oh, all right.
I have
It says,
women that have come up to me and had really bad breath. Mm. Pet
yeah,
peeve, bad breath. Don't have it.
that's not an individual thing. Everybody dislikes bad breath. Um, yeah. All right. It says, you're like, oh, he already asked that. Okay. He already answered that rather. And let me do it again. It says, Melli did make a pineapple show. Nobody show. Oh, it's cut. So dang, you already covered everything. So yeah. Yeah. It is. And I think that dynamic, for so long is why this new tolerance of disrespect exists in your generation. And it didn't begin with your generation. Definitely I've seen it in my generation, and it definitely exists. This whole market share superiority complex is a real thing, and
Yeah.
it's definitely getting worse before it gets better. It's actually, it may even be certain advantages to this OnlyFans frame of mind, because you're not solely dependent on them for that type of attention. As long as if you can maintain a healthy psyche with it, then maybe but there's a financial aspect of it. How much is OnlyFans?
OnlyFans is dependent on the female. The female can choose what price they want the OnlyFans to be.
Gotcha.
So they could charge you $150 a month. They could.
Okay, so that's like cable, and it's less than $6,000 a night. So
Oh, for sure. But
yeah,
the difference is that $6,000 a night is you're spending the entire night with that person in person all over you.
the all over you part is what's different. Because I'm assuming that the people on OnlyFans, they spend. Wait a minute.
Mm,
Wait. Is it multiple people
yeah.
in the room? Okay, because I'm like, that means that she would only have like one. So you're okay.
Yeah,
So
they can't talk. The OnlyFans model cannot talk to all the men at the same time.
so how does she know what to do?
She has to go one by one through her DMs and talk to them. It really fucking like takes a lot of effort to be successful on OnlyFans. It does. You have to talk to like if you're a successful OnlyFans model and you have like a creed where you talk to all of your like people that talk to you, gotta go in and talk to every single one. So no, you don't get to actually spend the entire night with that OnlyFans girl. There are other people talking to her as well.
Okay, so scenario, right quick. Say I want her to make me a sandwich. I want the OnlyFans girl to make me a sandwich, and so does another guy. He wants her to make him a sandwich too.
Like
And I say
to
cheese, and the
eat
other
or
guy says
to
no cheese.
watch.
What does she do? Huh?
Like to eat or to watch her make a sandwich.
To watch her make a sandwich. Just saying that that's my OnlyFans fantasy, because you mentioned
Okay.
that they pretend to be girlfriends and shit.
Okay.
So I say extra mayo, and another guy says no mayo. What does she do?
Make two different sandwiches.
Holy shit. Okay.
Yep. Make two different sandwiches. That's
Okay.
exactly what happens.
I get you. It's not for me, but I understand now why it exists. I used to question like the whole business model of it, but it's successful, and now I understand why it exists. Okay, so yeah, I think that having the other sandwich there would just take away from the fantasy, but I I get it. So private videos, I guess that's their equivalent to like a champagne room or something like that. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. You pay them if you want to. If you want her to make you a sandwich, pay her and she'll make you a sandwich.
Okay. I
That is
get it.
exactly how that works.
And do you see things? I'm about to close down in a minute, but do you see things getting better?
Do I see things getting better? It takes time and effort from everybody. We all have to come together and talk about this stuff. It's the only way things are going to get better is if we actually address issues. Issues don't get better that you don't address.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. And you feel that the root cause of this issue is feminism combined with a heightened and
Lack of
heightened
effort
sense of self worth.
and entitlement with a lack of effort.
Okay. Fair enough. So, yeah, thanks for that, especially expressing the new social conditionings of this new wave of feminism, where benefits from pre and post feminism exists and is desired and, in a very real sense, required. So, thanks for that. And yeah, do you have any final words?
Oh, no. Subscribe to GameChanger's channel. Subscribe to my channel. That's about it, man.
Okay, thanks a lot. All right, well, with that, I'd like to thank the Cash Apps and Super Chats, managers and moderators, those who listen silently, those participating in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. This is GameChanger 00100. Game over. Peace. Oh, stay in the back. I'll give you her Instagram.